Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Collet's Kitchen. Today we're going to be looking after beef mince, and I'm going to show you how I do it at home, and I'm going to pair it with some spaghetti. So right here we have our tomato paste. We have two tin of sauce, and I have another sauce, jar sauce here. I like mine juicy. So we have some tomatoes, we have garlic or sweet pepper, some thyme, scallion, and we have our onion hiding back there. And over here we have our minced beef. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're cutting up our sweet pepper. I'm not using any cutting board like them fancy chef, but ensure that you cut them small enough. Nobody wants big chunks of sweet pepper to eat. And it tastes really good. So it's like, oh, you eat the sweet pepper? Yes. Now the beef mince, you eat every God almighty thing. It's going to be that good. So I'm ensuring that I cut them small enough. I'd have gone ahead and kind of do it small, and then I'm cutting them again. So I'm going to finish off this, and then we get to the rest of the ingredients that we'll be putting in. So for the onion, I normally just make incisions across, because nobody wants to eat chunks of onion, just like we don't want to eat chunks of sweet potato. I'm going across to get them real small. As I say, if you have your cutting board with your fancy skills, go ahead. This does it for me just the same. So we're getting them small. And we're going to continue this process straight throughout. Alright, so we have everything here. What I added to it was a little all-purpose, and I put a tubs of cayenne pepper. I would advise you not to use any pepper in it. When you're doing your beef mince, you don't want anything. Well, if you're spicy, fine, but for me, I'm not really a lover of the spice. So you have everything together, so we're just going to mix it all together, and then we get it to the pot. Alright, so I'm going to be adding my mince to the fire. No, what I didn't show you was salt. Mighty God, only do put salt in there, but I would advise you not to put too much. If you're not a good judge on salt, don't put too much at first. Allow the mince to cook, and then you can taste to see if you need to add any more. So you can see my pot is just in color. I'm going to continue to stir this until the beef is cooked. How am I going to know the beef cooked? The color of your beef going to change. So we're going to get, it's red now, it'll get brown. Right, so I'm just going to keep smashing it as I go along. You see my tomatoes. Now for persons who I didn't get any canned tomatoes, so that's why I cut up tomatoes put in here, but you can use canned tomatoes if you choose. And as I was talking about the spice, if you're a lover of spice, go ahead, put in a pepper. I just put a tubs of cayenne pepper in it, not too much, for a little bit of spice. So you can see everything, our garlic, onion, sweet pepper. And I'm just going to continue this process until everything is brown. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the color you're going to be looking for to know when it's ready for our next step. So you can taste at this point if there's enough salt. If not, you can go ahead and add your salt. Normally though, these canned products, they normally come, well, you should look for the ones that don't have any salt in it. So this tomato sauce is roasted garlic. But the first thing I'm going to put in is my tomato paste. Alright, so we're going to be adding our tomato paste to our beef mince. Now, if you don't eat beef and you want to use a different type of mince, turkey mince, chicken mince, go ahead. But I eat beef, so this is what we're doing. So I'm going to ensure that the beef, the mince, is coated properly in it. So you're just going to stir it until everything is nice and cherry looking. adding the tomato paste. This is what our mixture looks like. Because I tell you, nice and cherry red. We're getting out the brown. So we're now going to be adding our tomato sauce. Remember, I have 2 small cans of this. It's up to you how much you want to add. But the juicier for me, the better. Alright, so I just added the next one. So we're getting all of this nice, juicy looking texture with our meat. At this point, you can also do a little taste to see if you need to add any spice or any other seasoning. And when I mean seasoning, I mean any other dried seasoning, like you want to put some basil or anything like that, or a little touch of the Old Bay seasoning in it, and you'll be good. So here we go, all this goodness. Now when you're doing your lasagna, I'm going to do a video on that shortly. This is the same mixture that we'd use to do our lasagna filling. So I'm just going to let it simmer on the fire for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then I turn it off. Okay, so as I told you, I'm going to be doing some spaghetti with it. Woo! Look at all that steam. Alright, so I'm going to add my spaghetti to this now. Alright, so what I did, I broke them in 2, and I put them in the pot. So I'm now going to wait for it to boil again, and then we check on it. Some persons tend to put oil in there to help them not to stick together, so you can do whichever you choose. Alright, so it's time to get this off. We're going to drain our spaghetti. See, get nice and fat. Color has changed also. So we're going to drain off our spaghetti. We don't want it to stay in the pot and get all smushy, right? Here we go. That's our final product, our beef mince and spaghetti. I have some ripe plantains at the side. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And always come on over to Collet's Kitchen to see what's happening.